Okay, here we go. I'm going to continue. Um, they huddled together, letting the rise in ground behind them break the force of the wind, but the earth under them was damp, and Little John shivered. Don't think about the cold, High John said. There's nothing we can do about it. Think about something else. Tell us more about your home. Charlie, who owns the water? What do you mean? I mean the water, like to drink and grow your food. Who owns it? Nobody owns it. You can't own water where I come from. Somebody gotta own it, Little John said. Somebody always does. We believe there are 4 sacred things that can't be owned, Bird said. Water is one of them. The other are earth and air and fire. They can't be owned because they belong to everybody, because everybody's life depends on them. But that would make them the best kind of thing to own, Little John said, because if your life depends on it, you gotta have it. You'll pay any price for it. You'll steal it or lie or kill to get it. That's why we don't let anybody own them, Bird said. So if nobody owns the water, who decides who gets it and who doesn't? High John said. Everyone decides together. 4 times a year, each household sends a representative to the neighborhood councils to discuss water issues. Water Council coordinates distribution and arranges for the work that's needed to maintain the system. Each house has its own cistern that fills with the winter rains, but that doesn't give us enough for the whole summer. We draw from the streams and the reservoirs and bring down water from the Sierras. What if you don't agree? We keep talking about it until we do agree. It works out. What if it doesn't? It always does. It has to, because we know what the alternative is. What? The stewards, or something like that? In the silence, they could hear the call of the night birds. The sun was gone, but the wind had stopped. The wind had dropped. Well, where we come from, you pay, High John said. The stewards control the water supplies. That's how they took control of the government in 28. The millennialists backed him with funds and religious prophecies. In return, they put into law most everything the millennialists believe. You've got to work for the stewards and obey the millennialist purities, or you can't even buy water and you lose your right to eat. Birds sighed. We studied the millennialists in school. They were part of the history that led up to our uprising. Back in the 20s, they had a lot of political clout. But it's hard to imagine that people took them seriously. All that stuff about Jesus returning in 1999 and then repudiating the world because of sin. He came and left, Little John said, leaving us to fight sin, which is most things worth doing. And people really believe that? Plenty do, High John said, or pretend to now. They have to, if they want a job and a roof and a full belly every now and then. Or they join us up in the hills and fight. It's hard to imagine, Bird said, even after we've been here. Even after where we've been. It's harder to imagine a city where nobody's thirsty, High John said. That's what we're fighting for, but it's still hard to believe it might really be true. Nobody's thirsty in my city, Bird said. Nobody goes hungry. Nobody's in prison. Even to him, the words sounded unlikely, an article of faith more than a solid memory. But we were hard hit by the epidemic. I don't know what's left now. That's why I got to get back to find out. I don't suppose you'd change your mind, come back south to the hills? High John asked. We sure could use someone like you. I'd always heard stories about witches from the north up with supernatural powers. But now that I've met you, man, I believe them. Bird laughed. My powers aren't supernatural. In fact, as powers go, they're fairly mediocre. Then I'm not sure I want to meet the ones you'd consider well endowed. Tell me about the hills. What do you mean when you say we? Come and see for yourself. We're fighting for what you've got. Fighting the stewards and the millennialists. It's not so easy down here. It wasn't so easy up there. People died. But we did it. We got free. For a while, High John said. For a while, Bird agreed. We know they could come back any time, and I don't know what we'd do if they came. What we do, High John said, fight, go thirsty, die. Maybe win a few small battles once in a while, but if we had someone like you to teach us what you know, I haven't seen my home in 10 years, man. I don't know who's alive anymore, who's dead. Probably all my folks think I'm dead. So they're done mourning for you years ago, High John said. Why reopen old wounds? Come south, just for a while. I'll think about it, Bird said to quiet him. But there's something else I want to know. What? Why are you both named John? It's tradition, High John said. When you go to the hills, you leave your name behind. You become anonymous. John Doe. And it's to do honor to John the Conqueror, the spirit who came over here from Africa with the slaves, who bring hope to the hopeless. Because, to be honest, we don't have too much hope of winning, but we're fighting anyway. Bird heard what he didn't say. We are desperate. He felt High John's will like a physical pull. The man's eyes were on him. Even in the dark, Bird could feel their glow. But he had to go home. He had to find out if he still had a home. High John was silent. Bird could smell the sage wind off the land rise and blow out to the sea. Little John yawned. I'm wiped out. You two must be really beat. Yeah, let's sleep now, Bird said. In the morning we can decide where to go. When the sun rose, the night chill had seeped into every muscle and bone in Bird's body. He was one solid ache. And he was sure High John felt worse. But the cool wind that blew in over the water tasted of unfettered tides. Bird offered up gratitude to the spirits for the moist fog on his face, for the absence of walls between him and the elements. They ate apples and the last of the berries. You still determined to go north? High John asked. Yeah, Bird said. And you still heading south? Yeah. How are you going to eat around the camp if you head back where we just came from? How are you going to get around the camp if you head back where we... No. Look. High John bent down and scratched a rough map into the dirt with a stick. I can guess roughly where we are. Here's the work camp, down in that flat area, and here's the hills to the north of it. But all of it's on this kind of bulge that juts out from the coast. I'm going to head east until I pick up the south coastal hills, the Mother Rocks, we call them. They run all the way back down to Angel City. Can you make it that far? Alone? I won't have to. I know where to find friends in these mountains. But north of here, there isn't too much. You run into the dunes where there isn't too much cover. And then the hills again. Farther up when you get close to Slowtown. There's one stretch where the old coast road runs right up to the beach. The army still uses the road and you can't bypass it to the east. They've got the area mined. If you get through into the Irish Hills west of Slowtown, you'll meet up with friends of ours who can help you. Thanks, Bird said. What about you, Little John? He shrugged. There's nobody waiting for me down south. I guess I'll stick with you for a while. Well then, this is goodbye, High John said. It doesn't seem enough somehow just to say thanks, but there it is. De nada, Bird said. He put his hands on High John's shoulders, sending him one last flood of energy that eased his own muscles as he drew up from the earth. Que te vaya bien, que vayas con Dios, que nunca tengas hambre, que nunca tengas sal. What does that mean? Little John asked. May it go well for you. May you go with the goddess. May you never hunger. May you never thirst. Never thirst, High John said, as if he was considering the idea. Merry meet, merry part, Bird said. That's what witches say. I remember my folks saying it, Little John said. And merry meet again. Take care, High John. Take care, High John said. Bird filled High John's pockets with apples and acorns. They watched as High John made his slow and careful way up the stream bed. He rounded a curve and vanished. Vamonos, Bird said. Let's get going.